Hey guys, welcome back to another video. So I'm here to give you 12 signs that someone has a secure attachment style. Are you ready? So I'm going to get right into this. So number one and number two, very similar. So number one is they respect and honor your boundaries. So if you set a boundary, or if you can't attend something, they'll be fine with it. They'll be like, okay, no worries, and it won't affect the relationship. It won't cause conflict for them. Number two, they respect and honor their own boundaries, and they'll be able to communicate their boundaries, what's okay for them and what's not okay. Number three, they aren't afraid of trying new things. So this is just very general. So it does, take this into consideration with different personality types, and just because someone's secure doesn't mean that they will just want to take any risk, within reason. But I think the general sense of this phrase is more that in general they will have a more adventurous or willingness to explore and try new things. Like they won't be anxious or scared. Particularly, I guess, when it comes to relational connections as well, they'll be up for the challenge or up for the experience of meeting new people. In general, everyone has their days that they're not up for it, or if they're an introvert like myself, there's still times that I would just prefer to chill by myself. But I do like meeting new people when I'm in the mood for it. So there we go. So number five, which I kind of, I guess, touched on this. They're comfortable spending time on their own. So they don't really get too anxious or anything. Like they're quite comfortable with it. With this one as well, keep in mind that secure extroverts probably do want to spend most of their time around people, depending on the type of extrovert that they are. So there's kind of that spectrum of introversion, extroversion. So you've got the really quiet introverts, really quiet, the really outgoing extroverts, and then in the middle you've got the more outgoing introverts and the more quiet or reserved extroverts. So yeah, just keeping that in mind as well. So it's more of a balance thing, because if someone is very comfortable spending time on their own, like almost to the extreme, it could be potential like massive introvert, or perhaps an avoidance tendency. Although avoidance do like hanging out with people, it's just more so the depth of connection. So avoidance, I think, tend to avoid that deep intimacy and connection with someone. So they'll maybe be up for and okay with like surface connections and be there for that. But it's more that deep intimacy that secure people are just really good at holding and connecting and moving in and out of very smoothly. Okay, so number six, which I just mentioned as well, they are comfortable with intimate and deep conversations, which is what I just spoke about. So I'll just move on. Number seven, they are better at working through conflict without getting overly emotional. So they're able to express, how they feel, what they want in a situation, and also be able to listen to you, the other person, and what they want and what they feel, without allowing that situation to cause some kind of like relationship disconnection. Like they're able to be willing and to have a conversation without it becoming a big a big issue, like without there being like an argument or attacking or like a disconnect in general. Obviously, it also depends on the other person in that situation. So, if a secure is with another secure, or even someone who is insecure but has skills in being able to converse in a good way. So there's quite a few different aspects if you think about this. So kind of look on the whole of these pointers to give you an idea, instead of don't just pick on one and just think, oh, this person like this, they must be secure. Like kind of look at the whole list together. So number 8, they are generally emotionally stable. So they won't really have too much of an extreme like high and low emotions. Like on the whole, they'll be pretty steady emotionally. Like they'll still show emotions. Like that's actually another good sign that I didn't put in there actually. Secure people tend to show their emotions and how they feel about things, like in general. So that's actually a good sign, because it's really good to gauge how someone's feeling. But they won't really go into the extreme, like in an overwhelming sense, like they're putting their emotions on you. Like they'll be pretty contained in general with their own emotions, and they'll be able to hold your emotions as well. Number 9, they aren't as afraid to ask for what they want, or if they need help with something. They are pretty trusting of people, so they have this kind of positive expectation of people, that people in general are good and want to help them, and they might be more likely to ask for help or to ask a friend to hang out without being anxious or thinking anything of it, whichever way it turns out. Like if they end up hanging out or not, like they won't really think up stories of why that person said yes or said no, unless it's an obvious thing that person comes across in like quite a strong way. But in general, they won't take things personally, even if that happens. Number 10, they aren't as afraid of opening up about their feelings. So they'll be more comfortable than the insecure types in talking about how they feel about situations, particularly if it is of a sensitive or deep matter. Of course, they will want to have a certain level of trust with the person, which is another factor. So secure people like to develop trust slowly and over time, and they want to like prove their trust to you, like they're okay with that, and they also expect the same for other people to expect they expect other people to prove their trust to them as well over time. And so they wouldn't just like open up to a stranger about all these deep things straight off necessarily. Like they need to have that trust in a relationship, which is pretty secure. Number 11, they aren't afraid of losing their friends or people that are close to them. So they won't have that fear within them. Unless something major happens that threatens the nature of a relationship from an external sense, they won't have that internal fear in general. So the other insecure attachment styles, I think it's more the disorganized and the anxious, even the avoidant as well. These types, I think, do tend to have a deep fear of actually losing people, which is what causes that insecure attachment style because of what happened to them as a child. So that's a big factor. And the last one, number 12, is secure people tend to just trust their friends and people close to them and trust that they care about them, and they just have this general sense and belief that the people around them care about them. Which the insecure attachment styles, particularly I think the anxious and the disorganized, they have this core belief, or these sorts of anxious feelings that people around them don't really care about them or don't really want them, and they just kind of overthink that. And maybe they're afraid to reach out because they think that the other person won't really like them or want to hang out with them. Yeah, so there we go. We've covered 12, and I've kind of added in one or two more within that. Signs to spot, to look out for, to see if someone has a secure attachment style. Now, if you want me to do any other specific videos on attachment styles, or if you have a specific question, please comment below or shoot me an email, and I'll do my best to respond to you and create some more content for you as well. Take care.